G'day, I'm Christian from CHASA. In this video, I'm going to take you through my top tips for getting ready for your first hunt of the 2024 South Australian duck season. Tip number one, pack early. Don't leave it till the last 5 minutes before you're getting ready to leave on Friday to pack for your duck shooting trip. So behind me here, I've got the trailer. It's the Monday before opening, and I'm just now getting all my decoys, decoy tub, chairs, camping equipment ready to pack for opening. If you don't have a full day, like I've got a full Monday off to pack, get ready. If you don't have a full day, just pack a little bit when you get home from work each day. Pack your swags and your chairs one day and your decoys and decoy tub the next day, and so on and so forth until you're ready and able to get moving. So this one's for all you boat guys. This is a little 12-foot punt, and this is a little 8-horse 2-stroke that goes on the back of it. This is basically a purpose duck hunting boat and motor, so it doesn't really get used that much outside of the season. So before each season, you want to come along, get your fuel tank, hook it up, make sure it's full of fuel, and if it's a 2-stroke like this one, you've got to make sure you put oil in it. You don't want to get to your hunting spot and realise you've got no fuel for the boat. And then stick it in a bucket of water and give it a run. Make sure that it's going to start and it's going to run and it's going to do everything properly. You don't have to do any maintenance before the season. So another one for you boat guys, PFDs, inflatable. These are the self-inflatable personal flotation device. These are really, really important if you're going to be hunting out of a boat or traveling to your spot in a boat. You want to get yourself one of these. Make sure it's in date, make sure you know how to use it. If you've got kids, I highly suggest getting an automatic one that goes off as soon as it hits the water. That means if they fall out of the boat, they'll be ready to go and they will not sink to the bottom. Another thing is, be really careful in the boat if you've got waders on. It is not recommended generally to have waders on in the boat. If you fall out, those waders can fill with water and you sink to the bottom. If you can, put your waders on when you get to your hunting spot and you're going to get out of your boat. That's generally a better option. This is more of one for around your campsite. If you've got your swag on a stretcher, you've got your tent, you want to get out of your tent in the morning and you want to stand on something to put your shoes on. Fake grass. You can buy these from camping stores, but I just got this 1 by 1 metre square from Bunnings. It was about 15 bucks. Nice thick fake grass, holds lots of sand. But you can stand on this in the morning. Your feet really won't get that dirty. And you can put your socks on, you can put your shoes on, and it makes it way easier to get out of your swag in the morning. You don't have to try and put socks and shoes on while you're still in the swag. You can just stand up and there you go. A good tip for everyone hunting in swamps is having a decoy tub. Now this tub is very large, but it can hold some decoys, some ammunition, and my gun. As we all know, in South Australia, you must dispatch your birds by using a blow to the head with a heavy blunt object. That makes it reasonably difficult to do it with a gun in your hand. So I highly recommend getting yourself one of these. When you get your duck, if you need to dispatch it, put him in the decoy tub. If you can't shoot it on the water and you've got it and you need to dispatch it in your hands, take your decoy tub, put your gun in it, take a gun case out, rest your gun in there. Then you can dispatch your bird, put your bird up in there. I like to put mine breast up because I think it helps the meat breathe a bit and it stops them getting too warm underneath. And then you can pick your gun up and you can continue shooting. So a quick tip on ammo. Get yourself one of these waterproof ammo boxes, plastic. They've got a seal around the lid and they're lockable with a little padlock, so you can put that one through and lock it. That's good for storing your ammo in the car on your way to your trip, but also you can take this out with you. So for me, this box might have 2 or 3 boxes of ammo, maybe 4 boxes of ammo. So that should be a box of swatters plus a couple of boxes, 3 boxes of your normal duck shooting ammo. And then you can put your coolers, you can put your earmuffs, you can put all of that sort of stuff in here, close it up, and it's waterproof for your ride out. You know, if you've got a decoy tub, you can put this in your decoy tub. If you've got a boat, you can put it in the boat. Keeps everything contained, keeps everything safe. Gun lube. Get yourself some, this is called Rem Dry Lube, made by Remington, but you could use whatever you want. Even Inox works fine. This is just helps with water displacement, so after each hunt, spray a little bit of this on all the metal parts. You go and wipe it over with a rag, and that helps to protect from rusting, helps to protect from water ingress, keeps that gun working nice and smooth. I also recommend giving your shotgun a full clean before you go out, after each hunt on on the swamp. Decoys. Getting yourself some good decoys, whatever you prefer. I like hard-bodied plastics with what they call a Texas running rig. That allows you to easily and quickly throw your decoys out. You don't even really have to get out of the boat if you don't want to. It also allows for quick retrieval, and they all sit on this carabiner, and then you can hang them up in the shed. You can just put them in the boat, put them wherever you want. You can actually just drag them behind you in the swamp, whatever you want to do. So this is your Texas running rig. So you've got a big, basically like a fishing style clips onto the front of the decoy with a piece of very heavy plastic cable, or you can use like 200-300 pound monofilament fishing line, big fishing weight and some crimps, and it can just slide. So you hold it like that and the decoy slides to the end, and then when you throw it out, whoosh, decoy hits the water and floats, and this just drops to the bottom, and it can sit there and float like that. And that allows, and then when you go to pick it up, you just pick the decoy up, grab the line, that'll slide to the end when it's in the water, and that'll drag along in the water behind you. And then you just clip him to this, and that's it. That'll be all your decoys packed up, ready to go. Having a good chair is a really, really awesome thing after your duck hunt is over. You can come back to camp, you can sit down. This one's a Darchie, like a director's style chair. Got some good armrests, you can sit there, you got a pocket, it's got a table. This one's a bit broken, but we've fixed it up and it still works. Put your drink in there, coffee after your morning's over, whatever you want to do, and it's super comfortable, and you can just sit back and relax while the heat of the day passes. Mosquitoes. We're camped near water. There's generally going to be mosquitoes around. I like the Bushmans, but they all sort of work. Really helps keep the mozzies away. Those Thermacell ones that click onto a butane cartridge, or the propane cartridges, whatever they are, they work really well too. Mozzie coils, they all work, but have something. You don't want to get sick from a mozzie bite, and they're just annoying. Spiders and snakes. Before you go away, just unroll, or even when you get there, when you unroll your swag, just give it a good bash out, make sure there's no spiders or snakes in it. Leave your boots upright when you go to bed at night. Generally reduces the amount of reduces the likelihood of spiders going in there at all. Snakes, be careful, especially if you're wearing shorts. Don't just go walking into thick grass without looking. Make a little bit of noise, and just keep your wits about you and keep your eyes out, and carry a first aid kit. Even just for those little scratches and cuts, a little bit of betadine and a bandage is much better than an infection. If you got a dog, there's a few extra things you got to remember. Take a water bowl, take a food bowl. You can use them. You can use one for both and just tip the water out and put some food in it. Make sure they got plenty of water. Make sure you carry plenty of water for yourself, but also for the dog. Don't forget that. And make sure you don't forget the dog's food or anything like that. Having a lead or a rope to tie the dog up, especially if people come into your camp to say g'day and they're a bit wary about the dog or whatever, sometimes it's just easier to tie them up. Or if your dog likes to chase cars, again, it's just easier to tie them up if somebody's going to be driving in and out of camp. But yeah, also make sure that you get your dog ready for opening. Chuck them a few dummies, make sure that you should be training them, should be keeping on top of their training all throughout the year. But in this instance, it's particularly important. If you've got a local river or a wetland you can go down to and throw them a few dummies in the water. Just make sure they still know what they're doing. My duck hunting trips are normally only a few days long, so I just tend to take fresh stuff, even bread, which most people don't take camping. I always take it because it's good and I like it for toast in the mornings. A little bit of bread. You can have fresh fruit and veggies, they'll last the time you're there. And meat, just a little bit of meat, whatever you want to eat. Don't overpack stuff. If you've got a fridge, you can freeze your meat a few days before. That's especially important if you're going on a long trip, say a week-long trip. I like to pre-portion and freeze all the meat that I'm going to take a good few weeks before, and then stick it in your fridge the day before you go. Another good tip with camp fridges, if you've got one that does 240 and 12 volt, cool it down on 240 volt first. It stops sucking all those amps out of your battery while you're driving to your spot, and it means you get there, your fridge is already packed, so that when you go to pack it up, all you have to do is lift it up, put it in the car. It's already cold, it's already got everything in it, and it doesn't have to use your car battery or your second battery in your car, or however you run it, to cool your food down. If you're taking an ice box, especially a big one, ice is an important consideration. I personally don't like crushed ice. I find it melts too quickly. So before each trip, I fill up some containers, even ones like this. This one's not quite frozen yet, but you know, this is just a chlorine container that's been well washed. Fill that up with water and freeze it in your camp fridge. This one's just sitting outside, and that makes ice. Block ice works way better than, you can also use honey pots like that. Block ice is much better than crushed ice. It'll last a lot longer. You put these in your ice box, and then you put some crushed ice around it just to fill out those gaps. For when you're out on the swamp, you want something that's good for hunting in. That can be as simple as just a dark coloured t-shirt, something with a few different dark colours. Camo is obviously really good, but you don't have to buy expensive camo clothing if you don't want to. Buying just simple dark coloured, sort of greeny coloured clothing that doesn't shine is completely fine. Try and get something that's long sleeve. You don't want your white arms showing. Pants, there's a few different schools of thought. If it's going to be cold where you're hunting, you probably want some long pants to go in your waders. If it's going to be really hot, you probably just want some shorts. And then when you get back around camp, not everyone, I know I don't usually want to be sitting in my camo clothes all day. So for me, I take another shirt and another pair of pants to change into when I get back to camp. Make sure you take a jacket, because even if it's warm in the day, it can get really cold at night. So it is generally a good idea to take a jacket and some long pants for sitting around the fire at night. There's three main pieces of gas cooking equipment that I take camping trips. First is a Jetboil, or you can buy cheaper equivalents at BCF and Anaconda and those sort of shops. Something like that is just small, really easy to make a coffee. When I get back to my car after the hunt, before driving back to camp, I usually, while I'm packing everything up, getting in my waders, stick the Jetboil on, make a quick coffee. Something like that. That's a really easy way to boil water, but I don't normally do much else in it. Here is the normal sort of gas cooker. So it's just a 2-burner cooker. This needs a good clean, but just a normal gas cooker, runs off a little gas bottle. 2 burners, you can boil your potatoes. You can run a frying pan on it. Do whatever you want with it, basically. The third thing that I normally take is a barbecue. This is just a cheap one from Bunnings. I think it was $100. Works really good. Cook all your stuff on it. You can do your veggies, can do your meat, can do all sorts of stuff like that. And then, depending on where you are and what time of year it is, you can have a fire. So we quite like to cook on the fire. If it's going to be really hot, you probably don't want a massive fire for cooking. If it's going to be cold, well, that's a different story. This is a cooking set we bought from, Dad and I bought from Snowy's in Adelaide. It's got a stake, so you put that into your ground, put a peg in there, and then it's got a flat plate and a round pan for cooking on. They just slip over the stake that's in the ground next to the fire, and then you can lift them up and they just stay there whatever height you want. Makes it really easy to cook on the fire. I'll be monitoring the comments on this video. If you have any questions about products or anything else relating to getting ready for your trip, your first hunting trip of the season, chuck it in the comments and I'll reply as soon as I can. I'm Christian from Chazza. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thanks for watching.